User experience research found me before I found it. In 2009, I traveled to China and pursued a master's in international studies. I wrote a dissertation on how women use online forums to seek support related to domestic violence. And I looked at how those conversations that were public impacted the judicial outcome. I wrote the thesis, it was about 50 pages in Chinese, and it was something that I thought I couldn't finish. After graduating from that program, I traveled to Panama, very much interested in this intersection between people and technology. I wanted to know how the ethnic Chinese in Panama use technology to communicate with families back home in China. So these topics were motivating my professional decisions before I even knew that there was an entire field dedicated to this. I conducted multiple interviews in both countries, in Spanish, in Chinese, in order to produce research around these topics. Shortly after, I brought my international competencies on leadership skills to a nonprofit, where I worked on an international team implementing programs for 300 students in 6 countries. Now, one thing that is perhaps the silent elephant in the room when you're designing a product are team dynamics and conflict resolution problems. We had some snide comments that came up in team meetings about race and LGBT identity, and it was uncomfortable for me. I like people to feel comfortable. I could have called folks out and said, you know, that's a little bit racist, but I didn't. Instead, I worked with my team to create a diversity training toolkit so that our staff could actually be equipped with tackling these issues in a constructive manner so that they could have competency in dealing with these issues and communicating in an effective manner. I brought my language skills, my conflict resolution ability, and my passion for making sure that my team is taken care of to the School of Information. I also brought my drive for conducting research on issues that deeply impact users. As a tailored student at the School of Information, I focused on a variety of projects. I've worked with municipal governments and making sure that the Historic District Committee had a brand and website that resonated with its stakeholders in Jackson, Michigan. I'm currently working with a local business person in Southeast Michigan to develop a coupon site. But what really drives me are issues that bother people on a day-to-day basis. Do we have any moms in the room? How many of you encounter challenges when you're transporting your children during work hours? Last semester, I started a project to tackle this particular market. I interviewed 30 moms about their child transportation needs and practices. Using this research, my team and I compiled a document that basically synthesized what the problems were for these moms and what they needed. We developed a demo for a presentation to entrepreneurs in December 2015 in Swift iOS. This process gave me the best practices and user experience that I lacked when I was in China and Panama. But I still have those competencies and that passion. I still bring that language experience. I have a unique skill set because I know how international teams work. I don't get offended by things that happen that are uncomfortable or perhaps people don't understand because I've been in an uncomfortable environment and I'm okay with that. So I care deeply about the mom who has 7 children and a Ford Focus and has to make 2 trips to drop her kids off at hockey who I interviewed. And I care about the mom whose son couldn't go to choir practice and so that the community had to fundraise to afford to basically put him in a taxi so that he could get there. These are the solutions that I'm looking to solve in my personal life and my professional life. I'm looking to employ the best practices I've learned at the University of Michigan School of Information for the next step of my career as a UX designer and researcher. Thank you.